Welcome, racers and fans, to the Racers News Network Live, presented by Straight Line Performance and Automotive and Scotty Wheels Racing. Your hosts, Chris and Pete, bring you the latest news and interviews in the world of sportsman drag racing, including bracket racing, association races, outlaw, and no-time events. We are live every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take it away, boys.
That's just an awesome intro. All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to a kind of abbreviated edition of Racers News Network Live. We decided, since we had a ton of results, that Pete and I would do those tonight so that it doesn't interfere with our show on this Wednesday night, which we had to reschedule just because of travel and adult responsibilities and stuff like that. Britt Cummings is going to be joining us Wednesday night, so we wanted to make sure we had the whole show to be able to talk to Britt, because I understand there's a lot of stories there.
He's a pretty unique individual from what I hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's coming from Jerron, who's a pretty unique individual too. So God only knows.
And after this weekend, I'm pretty sure Jerron's going to be the punching bag between Scott and Pete instead of the other way around.
I hope so.
Also, we were able to line up Dwayne Scheitland, who's going to join us, who was a winner this past weekend at Denver at the Mile High Nationals. So actually, why don't we dive right into we'll get some of the abbreviated results. Like I said, we have a whole bunch of them tonight. 61 cars made the call for Saturday's Line Performance 8th Annual Paul Bunyan Classic Super Stock Combo Race at Brainerd. Brad Koivisto from Cromwell, Minnesota, in his 74 Pontiac GTO, running 8 stock, number 1 qualifier, ran 111 under the 1215 index. Ron Feist from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, was the winner of the $2,000 check. Brian Zenzen, pretty much heard that name once or twice out there. From St. Cloud, Minnesota, was a runner-up for $1,000. Semifinalists were Richard Myers and Brett Spear. That was Saturday. Sunday, 50 cars made the call for the same race. Number 1 qualifier was Randy Manns from Rogers, Minnesota, in his 2000 Pontiac Firebird, running B stock. Number 1 qualifier ran again, actually 118 under his 120 index. 1120, excuse me. Hannah Line from Cromwell, Minnesota, was a winner of the $2,000. Jason DeForest from Oak Grove, Minnesota, was the runner-up for $1,000. Semifinalists were Ryan Hutar and Brian Zenzen. So that was Midwest Class Racers, again, the 8th Annual Paul Bunyan Classic Stock Super Stock Combo Race. So congratulations to everybody there. So have a whole another stack of results right here. There was a double event at National Trail Raceway. There we go.
You got it.
I got it.
Tongue twister.
National Trail Raceway. Out in Ohio, they ran the National Open not National Open, the Jag Sports Nationals first, and then they finished up the weekend with a
divisional.
With the divisional, and actually we have one of our guests for tonight on the phone right now. Good evening, Dwayne. How are you?
Doing awesome today. How about yourself?
Awesome. So hey, congratulations on your win this past weekend out in Denver.
Thank you so much.
Is that a normal track for you, running out in Colorado, running that high up?
Yeah, Denver's actually my home track, Chris. I've actually been racing there since 1971. That was, probably not the first track I went to. We had some other tracks around the Denver area, but very early on, I started going to Vandermeer Speedway. So I've been racing up there for a long time.
That is very cool. So tell us a little bit about your weekend, how it went. Obviously, leading up to your win.
It went really well. From when we first got started, I did my time trials, and I was hitting the tree pretty good when I was doing time trials. So I had confidence when I went into elimination that I was going to hit the tree. And, when the lights came down and the last light turned yellow, I left the starting line, and it all turned out great. Very
cool. I have my co-host on with me too. His name's Pete Senka. He runs Super Street out here and Super Gas out here in Division 1. Go ahead, Pete.
How are you, sir? Congratulations on your win.
I'm good, Pete. Thank you very much.
You got it. Hey, tell us a little bit about your car. What makes it happen?
Well, basically, it's a 1970, Dodge Challenger. I bought it about 35 years ago. I think it sat in the garage for 2 years before I got working on it to build a stock Eliminator car. Built the whole car myself in my garage. So I've been racing it for a long time. I lived in California when I first started racing it, but Denver was home. And after 9/11, my wife at the time, she's passed away now, we decided to move back home to Denver and been running it there ever since. It's got a Pro Trans in it. I build the motor. Dave Smith and his family does the transmissions for me. Everything else I do myself. Great friend of mine, Steve Hagberg, helps with the cylinder heads. So everything else, I try to keep what I do in the Denver, Colorado area so that I can keep an eye on everything that goes on.
Sure. What, for those that don't know, what class in stock are you running and what's your index?
It's an A-stock automatic car. The index at Vandermeer Speedway is 1169, and then the C-level index is 11 flat. Excellent. And I've gone as fast as 985 with it.
Ooh, okay. So you got no problem getting under the index, that's for sure.
No, it's a good car, and I run it pulled back about 3/10 whenever I run NHRA races. So when we do have to go a second under, the average stays below 85 under, so none of us get hit.
Right. Excellent. How many, what size motor, how many cubes are running?
It's a 440 wedge head motor with 3 2-barrel carburetors. It's a 6-pack car.
Oh, very nice. Very impressive that you do all that work yourself. That's great.
330 pounds is what it weighs.
3,000 what?
330. 3330.
Wow. No potato chip there, huh?
No, that's for sure.
Excellent. Well, listen, congratulations again on your win. That's awesome that you were able to bring it home, and it's even more awesome that you built the car yourself and you built your own engine. Great job.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
What does your typical season schedule look like? How many, divisionals, nationals, or even just, weekend events do you typically run?
Yeah, well, it kind of varies, but we go down for the winter to Lake Havasu City, Arizona, and it's kind of really centrally located down in Arizona. So it's 6 hours to Pomona, 3 hours to Vegas, 4 hours to Phoenix. So I try to start down there at the Winter Nationals, and then we do the race in Phoenix and Tucson and Las Vegas. And after April 15th, the last race in Las Vegas, we come back to Denver. And then we start racing the Division 5 stuff in the Denver area and to the east. In fact, I'm on the road right now. We are Flagler, Colorado, on the way to Topeka for a double point race this weekend at Topeka.
Nice.
Wow. So you're not afraid to put some miles on your truck then?
Well, it's this, I'm retired now, and it's something that I've always wanted to do, to be able to go out and race. And, it's just one of those deals. I'm living a dream and being able to do this. And I know I'm fortunate and I enjoy doing it.
Awesome. Do you ever look at the schedule? I'm in New Hampshire, Pete's in Connecticut. Do you ever look at the schedule and go, it would be kind of nice to go all the way to the East Coast?
I look at that stuff back there, and it's a hike to get back there. 2 years ago, we went back to Gainesville and did that. And of course, we were in Columbus last year and did the Sports National. So, we come east, but I'd like to race in the Northeast at some time, and it may happen before this is all over.
Very cool.
Because one of those places I've never been.
Awesome. I know we had a young lady who races stock and super stock. She's from Texas. Last year, you know, obviously with everything going chaotic, she made the journey up here to race at New England Dragway at the Sports Nationals that they put on up here.
Yeah, it's just one of those deals. It's still kind of in the bucket list, and you know, it could happen.
Very cool. Now, how about sponsors on your car?
Well, you know, it's kind of done out of my pocket. Is kind of the way we do things. You know, the Smith family of Pro-Trans have been a great help over the years. And, you know, like most racers, get a little help from a lot of people, and that's what keeps us on the road.
That is awesome. Pete, you were waving your hand.
Yeah, I'm curious because we don't have too many interviews from the left coast.
Okay.
What tracks do you hear about from the East Coast that you would consider iconic?
You know, we're starting to lose those tracks, and you know, like we are everywhere else.
Uh-huh.
And it's been kind of one of those things that I'm trying to get to all these tracks. Like Gainesville is one place I want to go.
Right.
And now we can't go to Atlanta anymore. And
right.
You know, it's so far away in distance that, you know, I really don't pay a lot of attention to what goes on up there. I watch what the racers do, the stock eliminator guys do up there. I watch what, you know, I've got a friend back there, Todd Hoven, and you know, I watch what he does back there at all those racetracks, and that's kind of how that goes.
Have you guys heard of like Englishtown or Maple Grove?
Oh, absolutely. And you know, I love the race back there, especially in the fall. It looks like a really
Maple Grove in the fall. It's hard to beat that. Unfortunately, as you probably know, we don't have Englishtown anymore. But like whenever I hear of the West Coast, the first track that pops into my mind would be Pomona. I was just wondering, you know, if you guys that are over there, when you hear East Coast, if a certain track popped into your mind, I was just curious.
Yeah, and in Englishtown was always one of the big ones that always came up, and it's just, you know, we're losing so much now. You just don't know what's next.
I know it's unfortunately you're seeing a lot more losses than you are gains, but hopefully at some point that'll stop and it'll turn the other way. Yeah,
you know, the track operators have got to make money, and that's the key. Is how do they financially stay in business? That's the deal.
At the end of the day, it's still a business, so.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So I would never ask a woman this, but I feel as though in the 30 seconds that we've known each other, you and I are pretty tight now. How old are you?
Go ahead.
How old are you?
I'll be 70 this year.
That is amazing. So the reason why I'm asking you is because obviously we know a lot of racers that will struggle and they will beat their head against the wall and say, maybe I'm too old for doing this. So you're definitely the inspiration coming up on 70 years old, that you can still knock down a national event and you're not afraid to travel. That is fantastic.
You know, I'm still healthy, and that's really the key to this thing, is keeping your health, I think.
Absolutely.
Well, Pete's the ripe old age of 46.
48.
No, excuse me, 48. I was trying to give you a little bit of an advantage.
I'll take it. For what it's worth, I don't feel a day over 70.
There you go.
That's awesome.
And I think Pete's you've had your car 35 years.
I bought the car when I was 13, and I'm terrible at math, so I'm coming 35. Up with 35 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So
wow. Yeah, that's cool.
Him and his Vega wagon that he's pretty sure he could live in it because it equals the price of a house by now.
I will be buried in it. I can tell you that.
Much money on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got the only $100,000 Vega wagon. It's worth about $15,000. So yeah, we're doing good.
Great financial decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. Solid. Absolutely solid.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Dwayne, thank you very much. I don't want to, interrupt your travel since you are headed to an event, but thanks for coming on and hanging out with us for a couple minutes, get to know you a little bit. And obviously, best of luck the rest of this year. And hopefully we'll get a chance to chat again.
Yeah, we sure can, Chris. I appreciate the phone call, and thanks to everybody back on the East Coast. It's I watch what goes on back at the East Coast. There's no doubt about it.
Awesome.
Good. Keep making us proud, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, sounds good, guys. Have a great night.
All right, Dwayne, thank you very much.
Stay safe.
All right, talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye now. All right, Dwayne Charlton, thank you very much for taking a few minutes out of your journey down the highway.
That sounds like a great guy. It's good that he's living life, that's for sure.
There you go, retired and on the road and playing with race cars.
Yep, can't beat it.
All right, so before we, give me just 1 sec, I gotta do this again.
I could do the results that I have if you'd like.
Yes, Pete, why don't you do the results that you have?
I have the .90 stuff from Denver, right? The national event. That's what you sent me? Okay. Just so you guys know, I'm definitely, Chris is picking up my slack today. Super busy day. My wife is out of state. I don't even have her computer, so I'm working off my iPad and my phone. So forgive the vagueness of what I'm about to report, but here it goes. Denver national event. I can tell you one name that we're not going to announce. It's our buddy Gerard, because he sucks. So, hey, just because he's not here doesn't mean we can't make fun of him. Winner of 890, which is not 890 because of elevation. It is, I believe it's 950. Does that sound right? I think all the .90 classes are .50s now, but in any event, if I'm wrong, someone could correct me. But in Super Comp, 950, we've got Shannon Nicoletti defeating Mitch Mustard. Shannon ran a 955 with a 7 to Mitch's 957 with a 9. Super Gas. I'm probably going to kill his last name, but we're going to try it. Darylyn Dolzal ran a 1049 with a 5, and that defeated Jeremy Siffring because he had a red light start. And in Super Street, we have Tim Shell running an 1146, defeating Dave Thompson's also red light start. So those are the .90s from the national event. That's pretty much all I'm going to be reporting because Chris is taking up my slack. So I'm basically just going to smile and shake my head and wave. Chris, take it away.
All right. Rest of the results of the national event at the 41st Annual Dodge SRT Mile High Nationals, presented by Pennzoil at Bandimere. The race is the 8th of the 20 coming up in the NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series. See, I can read what I print. Cool. Until I write everything down that you've already done and I keep talking.
Yeah,
all
right.
We're going to get the pros out of the way first. Top Fuel, Steve Torrance defeated Joey Haas. Now, I guess there was a pretty cool story about Joey Haas. This is like one of his first Top Fuel races.
I believe, and again, not that I want to correct you, but I believe it was his third.
Okay.
And in any event, it's not a regular thing for him. And I didn't watch the show, but a friend of mine came down to the shop today, and Cruz Petragon, one of the announcers, was announcing on how they really weren't taking the motor apart in between runs. I believe they were replacing spark plugs. They were pulling the pan off and checking bearings, and that's about it. And the dude made it to the final. So hats off to him.
Outstanding. Funny car, Matt Hagan over Alexis DeJoria. Pro Stock Bike, Matt Smith over Eddie Krawick. Pro Mod, Jose Gonzalez defeated the one and only Stevie Fast Jackson. Factory Stock Showdown, Stephen Bell and the Chevy Camaro defeated Leah Pritchett's 2021 Dodge Challenger. Comp Eliminator, Joe Marzaris defeated Jim Greenheck. Superstock, Kayla Mazaris defeated Scott Burton. Stock Eliminator, Dwayne Chilton, our guest that we just had the chance to speak with, defeated Craig Maddox. Top Sportsman, presented by Vortex Superchargers, Jimmy Lewis And a Pontiac GXP defeated Dwayne Doffing, who, as Pete likes to say, lit the cherry.
Lit the cherry.
All right. Top Dragster, again presented by Vortex Superchargers. Carrie Stark defeated Betsy Peak in the Dragster. Betsy had again, lit the cherry. So that wraps up the national event.
A lot of events. I mean, out of the 3.90 classes, 2 of them red lighted in the final, Super Gas, Super Street. And you just reported what, 3?
Yes.
That's a whole lot of red going on there.
I can't imagine. I mean, I've been to Colorado when I was a kid, going skiing and stuff, but I can't imagine getting a tuner race car out there that high up. I mean,
so
I know.
Funny thing, I don't know if you follow Angel. I can't even. What is her last name? Sampe. She checked into Medic, and it was like a routine thing for her because from New Orleans, she's actually below sea level. And she said going from below sea level to there, she just she walked in and went, right into Medic. And it's like, I guess they pumped her up with IVs and stuff because it's so hard. I've actually talked to Geron about it a little bit. And he said that just walking from one end of the pitch to the other, the altitude is no joke up there. So like you said, I can't imagine if we can't get air into our body. I can imagine what, vehicles that run on air, what it's like trying to get them to perform. It's pretty crazy.
I could just imagine how much they're having to spin those superchargers just to make up the difference.
Right.
I mean, go up to Mount Washington, go up, drive up the auto road, climb up the 4 or 5 flights of stairs to go up to the observatory. And you are,
right.
I don't care if you're Lance Armstrong, man, you are sucking wind.
Yep. They NHRA posted a thing with Alan Reinhart, which I believe they post the same thing every year, but it was like 3 or 4 years old. But they were in Steve Torrance's trailer, and he showed what they do to run up in Denver. They showed some of the things. I'm sure they didn't show everything, but the supercharger pulley was way smaller. The dome on the pistons, I believe they were 50 thousandths taller, to bump up the compression. And on top of all that, the regular fuel pump that they run won't cut it up there. So they have a smaller fuel pump that they use once a year for Denver. And on top of that, the amount of pills that they put in it, the size of the pill to return the fuel back to the tank is like, I don't have the exact measurements, but he showed the pill for a regular sea level track, and they showed the pill for up there. And it's like, you look like you could stick your pinky through it. Right. The opening is so much bigger. So, you understand why a lot of the professional teams skip that, because it's really a one-off situation. And if you don't have money to burn, that's a whole lot of changing stuff around for one event.
Absolutely. Yeah. Granted, it's they're kind of going into the California swing right now.
Right.
But
it's tough because with the prestige of making the Western swing, if you don't run Denver, you can't take credit for running the swing. If it's a bucket list thing, or, obviously if you're one of the heavy hitter teams, you're going to want to do it. But I could get where a lot of people wouldn't, because that can't be a cheap avenue for one race.
Yeah, a one-off ginormous expense to do all of that. You pop a couple motors.
Well, that's just it. If you don't get that balancing act right, you could make your stuff very lean very quick and hurt some stuff. So
absolutely. All right, so let's pick up where I left off. The Jag Sports NHRA Sports Nationals. Let's start it off with Top Sportsman. Jerry Albert defeated Chris Osborne. Let's see. Albert gets the advantage off the line, has a 19th package in the win. This is Albert's 5th national event win. Congratulations to him. Top Dragster presented by Vortec. Final round was Blake Peebler against Tyson Babish, with Blake taking the win. Peebler gets the whole shot, pulls away for his first national event win. Congratulations. Super Street, again, Sports Nationals. Scott Wiesand up against New England boy, Brian Sawyer, in a car that's been around probably about as long as your Vega.
The Camaro.
As a race car, yeah. Wiesand took out Sawyer. Let's see, 93 with a 6 to Brian's 96 flat. So Wiesand gets out of the gate first, holds off Brian Sawyer, takes his first national event win. Super Gas, Darren Wood defeated Jeff Jensen. 60 light, 988 with a 3. Bested a 46 light, a 986 with a 4. Jensen got the whole shot, takes too much stripe, breaks out. Wood gets his first national event win. So a lot of firsts here. Pretty cool. Super Comp. Jeremy Mason up against Joe Fusting. Jeremy takes the win. 003 light. Oh, this is interesting. 003 light for the winner to a 003 red for the loser. Jeremy Mason ran an 886 with a 4 in the winning effort to Joe's 888 with a 5. So congratulations there. Fusting leaves a little too soon, goes red, gives Mason his second win this year and 4th of his career. Let's see. Final round, stock eliminator. We'll talk about that again in a minute. TC Morris up against Kelly Pot Hall. TC Morris takes a win, a 22 light, 1096 with a 9 on a 1097 dial. Kelly Pot with a 42 light, 1118 with a 5 on 1119 dial. Pot Hall is behind off the line, breaks out trying to run it down Morris. Morris gets his second national event win. Super Stock. Ricky Decker over at Nick Morris. Decker with a 977 dial, ran a 979 with a 3 for the win. Nick Morris, 957 dial, ran a 958 with a 1. Decker got the advantage off the line and holds off Morris. Congratulations. And another first, let's see, Ricky Decker, his first national event win. So lots of first. That's awesome. Comp Eliminator. Class I love, but don't ever try to explain it to me. Please don't do it. It hurts. It hurts. We're going to talk about this name twice today. Peter Diagnolo over Greg Camplain.
Yep.
So Diagnolo with a 32 light. His index was an 893. Ran an 837 with a 4. Camplain with a 751 index, 24 light, no time. So Camplain got the advantage off the line, but had problems. Diagnolo gets his third national event win and his first in comp. So lots of firsts at the Jags.
Yeah.
So one of the other things I wanted to touch on here was Pete had the chance to go on another podcast the other night, and a couple of things that he said kind of stuck out to me, and I got a chuckle out of one of them. You know,
I already know what's coming.
But when he broke down how we each do have our own little thing that we really enjoy on our show, you know, obviously Pete with the .90 stuff, Scotty with the Outlaw, no time, no prep stuff, and I like stock and super stock.
Right.
It got me to thinking that one of the things you always hear people complaining about is the .90 cars start off stumble and then they go.
Mhm.
One of the things that I enjoy about stock and super stock is the wheels up action.
Wheels up start.
At the start. Where else are you going to see a car drag the bumper for God knows how many feet because they don't want to lift?
Yep.
Or just have a nice power wheel stand for 60, 100 feet, and then it comes down and they go. But one of the other things that I really enjoy is I like being at the finish line, up in the grandstands, watching the .90 stuff.
Yeah.
And I never really liked that until I took my wife to a race one time, and she was the why do they start, stop, and then they go. Took her down to the finish line and said, all right, now watch it. It's going to make a lot more sense to you. And she's like, all you see is the guys turning their heads. And I said, yeah, they're duking it out. They're saying they're going to see who's playing the better game of chicken at the top end. That's what I enjoy about the .90 stuff.
Yep.
Super stock because of this, .90 because of the top end fight.
I really believe that as long as you're a fan of the sport, you could find something that you like about every single class that's out there. Like you said, stock, super stock, the starting line, awesome to watch, right?
Yep.
.90 classes, and I don't care, stock and super stock people will probably send me hate mail, but there is no tighter class at the end of the track than the .90 classes. I don't care what anyone says, and I'll argue that until the day I'm no longer racing. Comp Eliminator, weight to cubic inch, and it's a mathematical science project. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if your brain is lazy and you want to give it a workout, try and understand comp. Top Alcohol, a lot of local heroes that aren't quite at the national level, but they're fast as hell, and it's like someone that that's local that you could get behind. The pros, pro stock, pro mod, that's all self-explanatory. And junior dragsters, right? I mean, getting the youth into the sport. It's if you're truly a fan, I think you could really take bits and pieces out of everything and really find something to enjoy when you're going to spectate.
Oh, absolutely. And then you take Top Sportsman, Top Dragster, who we have a couple of mutual friends that race in that. Dude, high speed bracket racing.
Right, bracket racing on steroids. I mean, even that, yeah, it's crazy. I would love to own a Top Sportsman car, and I forget to mention them. But yeah, I mean, and again, bracket racing, right? So you're bringing bracket racing on steroids to a divisional and a national. So it's another thing that there's no way, if you like drag racing and you go to a divisional, an open, a national, or a sports nationals, there's no way you're not going to be in love with at least half the cars that go down the track.
Yep, absolutely. All right, moving on. Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series North Central Division at National Trail, part 2 of the JEG Sports Nationals Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series weekend. Let's start it off with Top Sportsman Billy Thoman. Hope I said that right. Over Steve Jaeger. Let's see. Top Sportsman winner, dial 662, ran a 662 with a 7 and 27 light. Runner up, dialed a 673, ran a 674 with a 7, had a 17 light, so he had 10,000 on the light. Very cool. So this is what I found interesting, and I want you to explain this one a little bit to me, Pete. In the notes section, a mathematical tie. Both had a 34 thou package, but Tom Thoman gets his first career win. Now, explain the mathematical tie.
Go ahead.
No, you explain it.
Well, I don't know what it is, so what am I explaining?
Both had a 34 thou package.
Okay. So what do you want to know?
Mathematical tie. So they both had 34 thou at the top end, correct?
Right.
Okay.
So if it's a mathematical tie, they have to go out to the next digit.
Okay. Now, what's the furthest out you've ever seen him go? I could be wrong. I thought I heard him go as far as 10,000s.
Oh no. They go away. So you've got tenth, hundredths, thousandths. I've seen them go out 5 digits.
Really?
So thousandths of a second is 3, obviously.
Right.
I've never witnessed it. I've gotten a time slip way back in my Lebanon Valley bracket racing days where it said margin of victory and it had 0.30. So they go out more digits, but don't necessarily show it on the time slip, or at least they didn't back then. Now I know they do show it on the time slip. I know the Portatree system will go out like 800 digits if they have to. I don't know if, CompuLink or what we normally see, if it shows it on your time slip, but I know it shows them at the computers up in the tower. And it will keep going out until there's a difference between the two.
All right. Very cool. All right. Final results. Top alcohol funny car. Shane Bellamore takes out Chip Beverett. Beverett leaves a little too soon, goes red. Bellamore takes another good pass and his 17th career divisional win. Congratulations, Sean Bellamore. Comp eliminator. Here we go. A name we've already said once. We shall say it again. Seems to be on the hot streak this year in comp eliminator. Peter Diagnolo over Ronnie Bond. So Bond just misses the tree, goes red. He went 1,000th red. 0.001.
Ouch.
So Mrs. Tree goes red, giving the win to Diagnolo. So Pete doubles up for this weekend, winning the Sports Nationals earlier. Third divisional win this year, 5th of his career. Now Pete has the orange Cavalier, if I remember right.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's a Division I guy, obviously, right?
Right. D super modified automatic.
Yeah, I'm guessing that I will see him this weekend up in the media.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have a comp race there, which Rich will be competing in. So I'll be giving him a hand on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, I'm guessing. Well, first of all, I'll probably go over and shake his hand and tell him congratulations, and then I'll spy and see what kind of car he's driving to, so we know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has that like burnt orange Chevy Cavalier.
Yes, yeah, I believe you're correct.
Yeah. All right. So super stock. Zachary Running somehow managed to defeat Dan Fletcher. So anytime anybody goes up against Fletcher, it doesn't matter what car it is, especially if it's that super stock Camaro that he's had since I'm pretty sure he was born.
Right.
So congratulations to Zach. 42 light, 1051 with a 9 on a 1053 dial. Dan had a 35 light, dialed at 983, ran a 981 with a 2. Fletch got the whole shot, but takes too much at the top end and broke out. So stock eliminator. Houston Rakes over Anthony Bongiovanni, a guest that we've had and talked to before.
Yep.
B stock automatic over the factory stock A car. Imagine being in a regular stalker and having like a 2, 3, 4 second lead, and that Mustang having to chase you down. We're talking a 1031 dial versus a 986 dial. So, I mean, damn near 2 whole seconds.
Yeah, and the one thing you have to remember too is without a delay box, I could be bracket racing in my car and I could race a 6-second dragster, and he's reacting to the same flash I'm reacting to.
Right.
So he can't floor it and melt his converter down while he's waiting for his tree to come. But at the end of the day, he rips the same button that I do. Stock and super stock, you can't do that. You got to get your RPMs right. And I don't know. I guess I should probably inquire about this, but if you've got a 4 or 5 second head start, the faster car, do they sit there on the converter the whole time? Or do they, count 1, 2 in their head and then come up on the converter and look for the tree? And I mean, what they do without the electronics is pretty crazy.
At Bo Butner's race, the beginning of the year,
yep,
there was pretty sure it was a 14-second Dodge Turismo 2.2 up against a drag pack 8-9 second car.
Right.
So we'll call it 9-second car. He had basically a 5-second head start. And if I remember right, I watched the video of it. He was on the 2-step the whole time, waiting to go. I probably can find the video, and I'll see if I can, and I'll let you know. But I'm almost positive he was on the 2-step the whole time, waiting for his tree to come down as he's watching that little 2.2 putt down the track.
Now, if you're allowed a 2-step, that's not bad. It's bad to be on it for that long of a period of time. But my point is, you could watch the other car take off. You could count in your head 1, 2, and then floor it and get on the chip. I know stockers, they're like trying to get a certain RPM, like within 100 or 2. And that totally affects their reaction time, right? If they're shooting for $3,000 and they're up to 3,500, they're probably going to go red. If they're down 2,500, they're probably going to have a god awful light.
Right.
So if you have that big of a head start, are they, letting the car go? Are they getting on that RPM and just hanging there the whole time? That's got to be pretty tough on them. Thankfully, it doesn't happen 5 times a weekend, but when it does happen, that's got to be tough. And then you got to keep your concentration that much longer, hit your spot on the tree. I don't envy that. That's for sure. I'll take my crutches and my delay box, and I'll let the button go and see what happens. So that's got to be hard to do.
All right. So again, now it's Houston Rakes and Stock Eliminator over Anthony Bongiovanni. Congratulations. Super Comp, Rick Pistoli over Ron Finney. Rick ran out of 12 light, 892 with a 5 on the 890 index. Ron Finney with a 24 light, 892 as well on the 890 index. Pistoli got the whole shot, takes the win. Super Gas, Bob Locke over Paul Richardson. Locke with an 18 light, 992 with a 4 on the 990 index. Richardson with a 53 light, 993 with a 4 again on the 990 index. Locke got the whole shot, takes the win for his second career win. Congratulations. Super Street, we know who we're going to hear in this one, and it's not Pete Sanka, but that's okay.
No, maybe this weekend.
Maybe this weekend. All right, Super Street, again, at the divisional event at National Trail Raceway. Timmy Purcell over the one and only, the fantastic Keith Mayers. Purcell with a 30 light ran a 1091 with a 1 on the 1090 index. Keith with a 32 light, 92 with a 5 on the 90 index. Purcell got this very small advantage, a 30 to a 32 for Keith on the tree off the line, and holds off Keith for the win. Like we said when we did the live event at Lebanon Valley, if you beat Keith, consider yourself lucky because he's one of the best in the country.
You did good. Yeah, you did good.
All right. Top Dragster, JB Straswig over Al Peebler. The winner, Straswig, with a 26 late, a 617 with a 5 on a 614 dial. The runner-up, Al Peebler, 66 light, 619 with a 5 on a 618 light. Straswig got the advantage off the line and holds off Peebler for the win. Vortec, top sportsman at the NHRA Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series event. Billy Thoman over Steve Yeager. Thoman with a 27 light, 662 with a 7 on a 662 dial. Jaeger with a 17 light, dialed to 673, ran a 674 with a 7. So congratulations. And that
is a wrap.
Is the results. Now, those of you who just tuned in probably wondering what in the world is going on, because we did say we're not going to be on till Wednesday. We wanted to get as much of the results out of the way. Some stuff might trickle in between now and then that we haven't gotten. But we want to have enough time to really get into talking to Britt Sinclair, is going to be our guest on Wednesday night. Joining us as usual is going to be Jerron Settles, Scotty McDonald, Pete Seneca, myself. So we wanted to have enough time to talk to Britt, because there's a lot of stories and we want to hear as many of them as we possibly can. So.
And we also don't want to cut his time short and piss him off because his arm is as big as my head. So we don't want to make him angry, turn into the Incredible Hulk on us.
Absolutely. So that's why we wanted to do this tonight. So thank you for tuning in. Like I said, we're going to be live Wednesday night at 7:00 Eastern time, as usual. Same time, same channel. We're going to be talking to Britt Sinclair. Congratulations to everyone who won this weekend. Thank you to our guest, Dwayne Chaitlin. I hate last names, man.
Yeah, it's terrible, right? I'm way better at first names.
Dwayne, the guy who won stock this weekend.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like Carol's husband.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. What's his name?
Yeah, Matt who?
Matt V something or other. Yeah, Carol's husband. Yeah.
Visioni.
Absolutely.
It's only
I
taken me.
want to give a quick shout out to Jason Oldsfield and his partner Chris for having me. The hell's calling me? For having me on their show Friday night. Thank you. Looking forward to putting our minds together and them learning from us learning from them, and at the end of the day, just helping the sport. He says that when the series he's involved in runs, he's going to get us the results so that we can announce it. And that's it. Thanks for having us on. And we'll be back on Wednesday night.
Ever so quickly before we book out of here, like Pete said, we're going to start working together with them to get more results available. But if anybody out there runs a series and we don't have your results, we want them.
Yes.
We'll share them with the show out in New York. They're going to share stuff with us. And don't be afraid if you see somebody at the racetrack and say, hey, can you put your results up a little quicker so we can get them out there? Because obviously we want to talk to everybody. We want to give everybody the same amount of play. Like Pete said the other night.
Right.
We want the national event winners. We want the divisional winners. We want the JEG Sports winners. But we have no issue with talking to the weekly guys that run at Joe's Racetrack down the street.
No, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, bracket racing. And we also don't care what division either. I reached out a couple of times to Division 2, Division 3. Some guys said that they would get back to us with results. I wanted to announce schedules, and it just never happened. But at the end of the day, if you have a series and you want to list results, we want to talk about it. Tonight's the perfect example. We just talked to a national event winner from Division 7, 6, whatever, out there. Wherever you're from. We don't care. As long as you're cool with the time change and you could come on, we want to talk about you. So don't be bashful.
Yep, because we're not shy. Neither should you be.
That's right. Absolutely.
All right, Pete, go eat your dinner. Thank you, everybody. Hope you had fun. Tune in. Check us out Wednesday night, 7:00. We will be live with Britt Cummings.
We'll see you guys. Enjoy 2 days before you see us again.
Yep. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you, Pete.
See you, buddy.